Steelers Nation, we are in the midst of the start of the Steelers 2025 season. We are at the beginning stages of Steelers training camp. The first 4 days of Steelers training camp is over. They will have off tomorrow, and then finally the pads come on Tuesday, which is when the action really matters, which is when the action really counts for a lot of these players, man. But the first 4 days, there are some things to talk about. There are some good notes to discuss regarding A-Rod, DK, the rookies, even the offensive line.
Even a couple new additions that they added upon the team this past week.
Yeah, we got a lot to discuss today. Keep in mind, if you want to take some of this with a grain of salt, feel free, because obviously there are no pads to start. There's no pads, there's no hitting, there's no tackling. Come Tuesday, the pads come on, so that's when everything really starts to take full effect.
And get more of a better glimpse of this is a bit of a teaser to what this team could really be.
And that means we are 13 days away from the start of the Steelers preseason, since the Steelers' first preseason game, for the first game of Steelers football since January.
Yep, August 9th against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now, yes, it is preseason. There's not a lot you can take away from preseason, because we know from previous experience. But
just 2 years ago.
Just 2 years ago. If you know, you know. But even still, it's the return to Steelers football. This is what we all been waiting for. It's been a hasty, weird off season for us Steelers fans. So,
and we could just use some football right now.
We could definitely use some football. I know we got a game Thursday, but it's not Steelers football. I got to see what the rookies look like. I got to see Will Howard. I got to see Roman Wilson in action.
Yahya Black even.
Yahya Black, definitely. How about Derrick Harmon? Quick shout out to Alex Kozora of Steelers Depot and Nick Faribault. They're really the main guys out there that have been watching and detailing bit for bit, play for play, drill for drill what's been going down. So a lot of the info here is from them, and of course from Steelers.com. A lot of the clips you guys see on social media are from the people on Twitter. So huge shout out to them. They're there every day trying to give us the best information. So I want to give them shout out for everything here. All the notes, shout out to them. Appreciate them for all their contributions, as we are all excited for the Steelers this upcoming season. So shout out to them for that. With the quarterback for the Steelers this year, obviously Aaron Rodgers, the first pass that he did in team drills was, as you guys probably have seen, there's a video all over social media. Shout out to Robbie on X for filming it. It was intercepted by Patrick Queen. Now, yes, he did try to hit DK. In fact, the first day, he kept targeting DK. You can tell they're trying to get that chemistry. They're trying to get that connection sparking early. They want to get all the rust, all the miscommunication out the way. That way, when it comes to the football that really matters on Sundays, they want to be as connected as they can. They want to be very much in sync, to the point that they're even roommates at Steelers training camp, which I think that's phenomenal.
There's already been a couple funny stories that have come out from DK Metcalf about what's been going down so far. Been a little funny. They're on social media if you want to know about it. But yeah, day one, he threw an interception to Patrick Queen. It was his first pass. It went all over social media. I wasn't going to panic about it. It's practice. It's training camp. It's whatever.
Like I was saying, Rodgers and DK, they had a rough first day, but that didn't stop Aaron Rodgers from still trying to target DK. That didn't stop him from trying to get him the majority of the targets and the majority of the throws, because, again, they want to get that connection in sync as soon as possible, to the point that on day 2 of Steelers training camp, in the first play of 7 shots, Rodgers hit DK for a touchdown.
Yeah, Darius Slay in coverage. He found him on an out route, got the touchdown. He even hit Calvin Austin on the deep pass for a nice completion.
Yeah, even Calvin Austin, he's obviously going to see a bigger role now. A couple months ago, Zach Cassani, our wide receiver coach, was naming him the wide receiver too. But an interesting note to make out of camp is he's seeing a lot of time in the slot, is Calvin. Roman Wilson is seeing the majority, if not all, of his reps as an outside receiver.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting to me. I thought they would have been a 50-50 split between Austin and Wilson in the slot, considering Wilson really made the majority of his plays in Michigan in the slot. But the Steelers see a lot more of Wilson and his potential and his opportunities outside, which I don't hate, because I think Roman Wilson is very much capable of playing outside. I just find it interesting that they're actually kind of doing it right now.
Well, you can tell they're trying to give him the most of the reps early on, and they have a lot of faith in Roman Wilson. Yeah, he was hurt essentially his entire rookie season, and in his second year, we still don't have a wide receiver too, so they're going to give him all the opportunity in the world. So him getting all the reps at outside, I think that's good.
As a matter of fact, the starting receivers for day one was DK, Calvin, and Roman Wilson.
As expected.
And that was the current theme throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, not Bobby Trees. No, we got the young cats as the starters opposite of DK, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Give those two the opportunity. I still think they should add a wide receiver, but even then, the more reps they get, the more opportunity that they're going to have is a better chance for them to really, hopefully, make an impact, maybe even an immediate impact with the Steelers, with A-Rod at quarterback. So that's why I like to hear. That's only going to grow their connection and, you know, their growth as Steelers as we move an inch closer to, you know, preseason and, of course, the regular season, right? Jonnu Smith, obviously we acquired him in the Minka Ramsey Jonnu Smith trade. He missed the first 2 days of training camp. I forget what the injury was. I'm not sure what the injury was. Now, he did partake in some personal drills, personal workouts, but he didn't really run any like 7 shots or 7-on-7s or whatever with the offense. Not until Saturday, and then he performed in the last 2 days. He performed in practice. He participated, and he even got a touchdown in the first opportunity, the first play of 7 shots today thrown by Aaron Rodgers. So Jonnu Smith, back from injury, he's starting to get his connection going.
And getting involved pretty early on as well. The injury that he had, Thomas specified him as day-to-day. He didn't exactly specify what the injury was. It's just that he was day-to-day. He missed the first 2 days until he started practice Saturday. And like I said, he's getting involved pretty frequently, pretty quickly.
Yes. One Steeler, one player on the offense that hasn't played all week is Cordero Patterson. I don't know what the injury is, but he's missed the first 4 days.
He was also specified as day-to-day. His injury has not been specified as well. I don't know what the ordeal is, but he has not practiced all week.
Honestly, like, this is no disrespect. I don't know why he's on the team. We got 3 studs at running back. Why is Cordero Patterson needed? Maybe because of his wide receiver background? Well, that's what Gainwell's for.
Or his kick return background. That's what Kenneth Gainwell is for.
Yeah,
there's no disrespect to Patterson. There's no purpose for him anymore.
No, I don't understand why Patterson's still on the team.
I mean, what he's dealing with, I hope he gets better. I hope he's doing well. It's just the purpose or what his lead, responsibilities could be for the team. It's not there no more.
No.
He plays zero factor into this team, into this roster. That's just the way I see it.
So I don't know, if the pads come on, he'll start seeing some time with the offense. If that case, what unit? Is it going to be the first unit, second unit, third unit? I really don't see where his role fits on the team right now when we signed Gainwell to really be that replacement. He can do everything Patterson can do, but younger and faster and healthier. So I don't know what Cordero Patterson's role is going to be, but that's worth noting. He hasn't participated all week due to some injury, and he's listed day-to-day. Defensively, let's move on to the defense, man. Payton Wilson, like usual, is the first player on the field for most of the days. He's picking up right where he left off last year, where last year he was the first player on the field. As a rookie, third-round rookie, he was on the field. Now this year, he's going to see a more increased role as the inside linebacker opposite Patrick Queen starting. We're all excited for Payton Wilson.
Big time.
I out of everyone this year, I'm really excited to see what he can do, what his impact's going to be, what his growth is really going to show. I get a great feeling about Payton Wilson. I really do. But the fact he's the first player on the field, that just goes to show his work ethic.
His work ethic, his consistency with his routine, dating back to last year when he was a rookie to now his second year. Like, he knows the type of responsibility that's going to be laid upon him being the linebacker opposite of Patrick Queen. It's a bigger role. It's a bigger chance. It's more on his shoulders, but Payton Wilson has shown that he's ready for it.
He also stated that he feels like he's one of the best cover linebackers in the world. I'm not going to disagree with him. He's definitely our best covers linebacker since Sawyer. We haven't really had a guy like him since Sawyer, so I'm not going to disagree with Payton Wilson. And the Steelers like to run a ton of man, and they're going to have to now, seeing what the corner room is like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they really have no choice. I mean, they're all tough in man coverage. Why would you not do that? I feel like that would be a disservice for the defense, a disservice for the team. Payton Wilson's going to see a lot of pass coverage reps. You trust that?
Name me another linebacker outside the Queen that's going to do it. It's Payton Wilson.
Yeah, literally.
And I have faith that he's going to hold his own.
So do I. Speaking of the corners, man, Jalen Ramsey. It's still weird to me he's a Steeler, but he is. Jalen Ramsey moved around all over the defense. So he's playing safety. He's playing outside. He's playing in the slot. He's pretty much essentially playing that Swiss Army knife that Tomlin and Austin have been looking for the last couple of years. He's playing that star role like he played back at his Florida State days. which I think that's perfect with what he's getting paid and the contract he has, and pretty much what we have on the roster, what we have in the corner room. Jalen Ramsey is perfect for that role, and why would you not utilize him all over the field, knowing what he can do, his characteristics, his ability on the field, his versatility? Absolutely use it. And the Steelers, man, they didn't shy away from it at all. They did that immediately, and they haven't shied away from it for the rest of the week. And it'll be interesting to see, how much of that increases or how much of that is continued when the pads come on. I think that's great for Jalen Ramsey to move him around and keep JPJ and Darius Slay outside. Both of them have been looking real good. All three corners really have looked very strong in camp. They've all been standouts. Yeah. Slay's making plays. JPJ's looking tight in coverage. Ramsey's getting moved around. Shout out to Brandon Eccles. The past couple of days, he's been making plays in coverage. He's been making plays down the field. He's been making plays in tight coverage. I mean, for a depth piece that we signed in the offseason, I think that's perfect. That's why we brought in Eccles, because he's such a dependable guy for depth when you still have Corey Trice and Beanie Bishop underneath him as well.
It's a bigger upgrade than what Cameron Sutton was last year. And from what you're hearing from this cornerback group so far within the first week of training camp is exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Because the cornerback room last year, it started off hot, started off fine, but then, of course, downward spiral. The cornerback room did not hold its own. It just wasn't reliable. We need reliability in that cornerback room. And so far, so good off week one. From JPJ, Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Brandon Eccles, guys like that. It's what you want to hear.
And like I mentioned, they're playing a lot more man coverage. And I think they're going to thrive on that. JPJ, that's his best area. That's his best ability. Put him in tight coverage, put him in the press, let him work. Clean up the penalties, yes, but let him work. Darius Slay, man, he's still smooth for his age. So is Jalen Ramsey. I think this corner core is going to be really, really good this year. We haven't had this strong of a corner core, this stacked of a corner core since 2019, 2020. And frankly, I'd argue it's better just based off of the name value and, what we have in the room. We got to see what it is on Sunday action, but I think it's going to be as advertised. So the fact that they're going to run a lot more man and hopefully that transitions into Sunday action, I think that's perfect. That's what the defense needs to do. That's how the defense is going to thrive. That's what they need to do more. So hopefully they incorporate that into actual NFL Sunday action. Not only are they doing more man, not only are they moving around Ramsey, they're moving around their edge rushers, which how long have we been crying for them to do that, especially with a guy like TJ Watt, where last year, the last 4 games, he didn't obtain 1 sack. Why is that? Because he's stationary, because the defense was basic last year. Everyone remained where they were. Offenses knew where everyone was going to be, so it's easy to game plan. Let's chip this guy. Let's chip Watt with 3 or 4 guys. Now, once they move them around, that's going to keep offenses guessing. That's going to create mismatches for Highsmith and Watt, where if you want to swap them on opposite sides, please do. I think that's brilliant. That's what the defense needs to do. They need to open things up. They need to be more creative. With all of the money and the name value that they have invested into this defense, it's a must. It's going to keep the defense strong. It's going to keep the defense off the field. It's going to keep the defense making plays.
It would just confuse the offense just to move your prime edge rushers around.
Yeah.
Not just Watt and Highsmith, but guys like Nick Herbig or even Jack Sawyer, who for a 4th-round rookie has been making plays all week as well. It just goes to show the depth of the edge group, the edge core that you have, which is very, very reliable and what Steelers rely on heavily when it comes to their linebackers. And moving them around, it's what you need to do.
I agree.
You can't keep these guys stationary. You got to keep these guys moving around. You got to make it predictable or unpredictable. You can't make it too predictable. You have to have offenses be caught off guard. You have to have offensive linemen be caught off guard to a point where they're in that moment confused, like, oh, shoot, who do we block? How do we block these guys? How do we slow these guys down? It just ruins their schematics of trying to stop these pass rushers.
Absolutely. I think adding that to the defense is only going to make the defense better. It hopefully makes guys healthier, and it'll create more plays, which is one thing the defense was known for last year. They kept making play after play after play. Towards the end stretch, not so much. No. Well, if we keep moving these guys around and with all the depth we have, there's no reason the Steelers not to do that for 17 weeks straight.
And it's not like they're just moving Watt and Highsmith, they're just switching, like Watt's playing right outside when he plays left outside and Highsmith vice versa. No, they're actually putting them in like the A gap and the B gap. Like they're really trying to switch it around, trying to get these
they're
guys.
blitzing them interior.
And that's what they should do. If you're an offensive lineman, how are you going to stop a guy like TJ Watt coming down interiorly? It's a hard thing to do, especially considering that you're not used to a guy like Water Highsmith coming down interiorly. Or if you want to throw in a Nick Herbig in there with Watt and Highsmith outside,
or
even
Jack Sawyer,
or Jack Sawyer in there, whatever, it just goes to show.
Or
again,
better yet, blitz the inside linebackers like Queen or like Wilson.
It goes to show the strength and the core and the depth of the entire linebacker room.
So
there's one of the strongest linebacker rooms that the Steelers have probably had in quite a long time, and I'm being serious.
So and I gotta agree, but you also look at it. So is the coaching, is the defense starting to open things up a little bit? That's what the first couple of days of training camp is telling us. They're hinting that, yeah, we are going to experiment at certain packages. We are going to experiment at swapping people around, creating mismatches, which is definitely desired. So can we see more blitz packages? Can we see some new disguises that are going to move players around and keep the offense on their toes? Now, yes, this is training camp. They're going to experiment some things, but I think hopefully this is the beginning stages that the writing is on the wall that this will be incorporated into regular season action, because that's what the defense needs to do. If you get as basic as they were last year, it's not going to be good.
It's going to be a bad ordeal.
Yeah, a bad ordeal. It's going to be the same thing with, I would think, a more stacked defense this year. The only thing that they're lacking is a free safety. Now, Juan Thornhill is getting first-team reps, obviously, because who else is going to? He's looking solid. He's getting some pass breakups from what I'm reading.
No, but coming into training camp, he was the primary free safety. Outside of that, who exactly was the backup free safety?
Castro.
Sebastian
Castro.
If he's even a true free safety, and I like Castro's play. I like his potential there.
But obviously, the Steelers wanted to add somebody, so they did. So early into the week when training camp started, the Steelers actually signed a free safety. They signed veteran safety and former Raven and Jet, Chuck Clark. They just got a thing for former Ravens and Jets, don't they?
They have like 5 former Ravens.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen. They have Malik Harrison, who they signed. Chuck Clark, who they just signed. Jeremiah Moon. Am I missing anybody?
Elliott. Deshaun
Elliott, of course. How could I forget?
Deshaun Elliott.
My God.
Yeah, they got a thing for former Ravens and, of course, former Jets. Chuck Clark, Brandon Eccles, Aaron Rodgers. Am I missing anybody? You get what we're saying. But they brought in Chuck Clark, who is 30 years old. He's a veteran safety, not free safety, strong safety. He can play anything. Now, he's probably more of a strong safety, more of a box guy, but he can literally do everything that you ask him to. Is he going to be the starter? I don't think so. Can he make the roster as a depth piece? That's probably his best spot. I view this as more of just like a camp body. Bring in a vet, give him an opportunity. Maybe he'll make the roster. I would think he would, just based off of the fact he has 75 career starts.
Yeah, and I see this signing as a typical Mike Tomlin Steelers signing, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying Chuck Clark is a bad signing. He's not. I can't say that. I haven't seen the guy practice yet or play yet. You know what I mean? I got to see him play. I got to see how he is decked out in the black and gold representing the Steelers logo.
But I will mention, obviously, he missed all of 2023, his first year with the Jets. He missed all of it due to an injury. And then last year with the Jets, he only played 12 games.
Right.
So like Juan Thornhill, he's had injuries the past 2 years, which is a concern.
The Steelers, a guy like Chuck Clark, who started 75 games, has plenty of experience playing strong safety and free safety, both positions. Tomlin values that, and the Steelers coaching staff values that. Yeah, and again, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, he has 1,750 reps in the box, 1,871 reps as a free safety, and 672 reps in the slot. So you see where his versatility lies. You see he can play anywhere the Steelers need him to. Now, this is just me personally. If they wanted someone like that, they could have went someone younger and more of like a hometown face in Jordan Whitehead. But they obviously view Chuck Clark as more of a crucial veteran.
They value the experience there.
And, of course, the chemistry with a guy like Elliott, as he played with him with the Ravens, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to value that more over than probably what I would desire, like a Jordan Whitehead. But even so, they brought in Chuck Clark. We'll see what he can do. I view this more as just a depth signing, a camp body. We'll see what happens. I still think they ought to add someone else, though, because I just don't know if those two are going to cut it. Not a free safety.
I'm not going to get my hopes up on Thornhill or Chuck Clark really locking down the free safety position.
Unless they really want to play Ramsey there more often than we think and then put Beanie or Eccles in the slot.
It's a possibility. I mean, like, they wasted no time getting Ramsey up and moving him around the secondary, especially playing at safety in some individual drills. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Anything can happen. We'll see. We'll see what these guys can do over a free safety.
Let's get on with the rookies. Now, this is what I was mostly excited for, is hearing what the rookies are going to do, what their impact's going to be, what their roles are. It all starts with the first-round pick, Derrick Harmon. This guy has made himself a strong and immediate impact in camp. Like, he didn't waste no time. He's had a strong first couple of days of camp. He's making play after play after play, and that's including getting through the line, getting into the backfield, disrupting the run, getting to the quarterback for what would-be sacks if tackling and sacks were allowed, disrupting the play, batting down passes. Harmon's making play after play after play. Like, he's looking fast out there. He's getting through the line. He's doing exactly what you would hope that a first-round defensive lineman would do. Harmon, man, is just, I think he's going to make a strong impact on this line. I think him alone being added makes our line stronger. Now, obviously, I can't wait to see what he can do in actual game action, but from what we're seeing and what we're hearing and what we're watching from clips, fan clips on social media from training camp, Harmon's looking good. Harmon's looking like he's going to be an immediate impact guy.
He's playing like a stud. And keep in mind, he is already the starting left defensive end opposite of Cam Hayward.
Yes.
He was already gifted that because nobody else is going to really be the starter outside of Derrick Harmon. So he's doing this all with the first-team defense, which is what you want to hear from Derrick Harmon, from your first-round pick at that.
Yeah.
And this guy is just balling out. The guy's being a stud. He's being in the backfield quite often, disrupting the run, with, would-be sack, would-be tackles. He's getting off blocks. He's playing fierce. He's playing fast. He's playing quick. He's playing mad.
Yeah, he's making a strong first couple of days, man, which is why I love to hear. He's playing fast. He's playing good. Wait till the pads come on. Wait till the pads come on and wait until we start seeing him in preseason and Sunday action. That's what I can't wait for, because I got a great feeling about Derrick Harmon. I get great Steeler vibes with him. And you know what I'm talking about when we think of defensive linemen in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They go hand in hand. Harmon is already giving me that early impression. Like, yeah, dude, I can live up to that first-round grade, that first-round pedigree, that Steeler, that Steeler in him, that Steeler ability, that Steeler
mold.
Type of lineman, right?
That mold of a defensive lineman for the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just fits it to a T already. He looks the part, and so far in practice, he's playing the part.
And I'm hearing and reading and seeing the same thing about Kaleb Johnson. I'm not surprised by this. Again, I get great vibes with Kaleb Johnson. I just get a great feeling he's going to be a stud, an absolute stud for the Steelers offense. And there's not many players you could say that regarding the offense, but I get a great feeling about Kaleb Johnson. He had a great first day at camp, breaking off a couple big runs, flashing some speed, which I think is underrated, and bursting through the line, bro. And he's also showing his patience and how he can turn on the jets so quick. Like, he waits for a block, looks for a gap, and then turns on the jets and gets up the line.
Stuff that we saw, looking at the Iowa highlights of him, right? His patient run style, just letting his offensive linemen do what they need to do. And then when he's in space, I mean, that burst when he goes up, man, like what his 40 says, he ran a 4.57 40. There's no way. There's no way, like, when he is through the gap, he is actually running a 4.57. He's got to be within at least, at the very lowest, a 4.49.
Now, obviously, again, there's no pads, there's no hitting. So, yeah, he burst through the line. Obviously, no one can touch him. But when the pads come on, I'll be interested to see, how much he can really show, how many tackles he can, block off, or even in back-on-backers drills, which that's going to be a heavy precedent when the pads come on. We're going to see back-on-backers drills, which is really going to test Kaleb Johnson's ability in pass protection. How ready is he in that area? He's already asking Warren and Gainwell in that case for a mini camp, right? Now training camp comes. The pads are going to come on. He's really going to be tested. He's going to be going up against the likes of Watt and like Wilson and Queen. It'll be very interesting to see, how ready he is in that area. I'm not going to expect the greatest performance from him, because that's the one area he isn't great at, because Iowa wasn't very pass heavy. They're very run heavy. But the Steelers, man, they one thing they do with their running backs is they improve the pass protection. They did it with Bell. They did it with Connor. They did it with Najee. Warren was already a standout on day one as an undrafted free agent. Kaleb Johnson's going to get the same treatment.
And that's the case with Eddie Faulkner, our running back coach. Ever since he's been with us, I mean, it's always been a thing about him, is one, protecting the ball most importantly, but two, getting pass protection down to a T, and even, being a valuable receiving back. And that's another thing that Johnson didn't really do a lot at Iowa because of their scheme, their run-heavy scheme. And I feel like his pass catching ability is quite underrated. I feel like there's a lot of potential there.
I agree. I'm very excited about Kaleb Johnson, but from what we're seeing and hearing and watching on social media, he's looking fast out there. He's showing some burst in the backfield, which I love. Najee, best luck in LA. That's one thing he lacked, which is why I think Kaleb could be an upgrade. How much of an immediate upgrade, we'll see soon, but I love what I'm hearing from Kaleb, man. He's just really bursting onto the scene already. Wait till the pads come on. How about Jack Sawyer? Now, you mentioned him earlier. You know, much like the linebackers, them swapping, Jack Sawyer has experience at that at Ohio State that really allows a guy like him to be ready for any scheme or any formation or any package at the next level, which is where he's already going to be ready for that. But he's showing some great pressure, a variety of moves, getting to the quarterback, you know, disrupting the play in the run game. Jack Sawyer, yes, he's the fourth edge piece, but that's very important for the Steelers defense. They need that guy. If we, God forbid, knock on wood, go into injuries at the edge position again, very much like we did last year and the years before that, we need someone like him to step up.
That's why they selected Sawyer in the 4th round.
You want a rotational guy to keep the guys fresh. Sawyer's perfect. Sawyer and Herbig, bro, that edge group is deep. It's strong. It's so young and explosive. So I hear Jack Sawyer's doing good. I'll be interested to see what he does when the pads come on as well, how much more reps, what his role is going to be as we inch closer to the preseason, but love hearing that. Same thing with Yahya Black.
Yahya Black, man, he's been standing out all week, dude.
Yeah, Harbin is doing great, but so is Yahya Black. He's really making a case where he should honestly get more reps as like a nose tackle or even a defensive end if they want to line him up as like the 4-eye or whatever, right? You know, where he can get through the tackle, get through the guard. He's not known for his pass rush ability, but he's showcasing he can shed some blocks. He could stop the run, which is his biggest area, because look at him. He's 6'6",
330.
My God.
He's a big boy. He's a big guy.
He's a prototypical Steelers nose tackle, bro. He's got the build, and because of that, that's really benefited him in regards to batting down passes, which, as a defensive lineman for the Steelers, that's one thing that they're very good at. Hayward had 11 last year, a career high. Benton had 6. You already got Harmon batting down passes. Yahya Black had a couple the last couple days. Bro, this defensive line and the depth, I think it's the best we've seen in a couple years. We got fresh, young depth there. We got new faces. I think we got stronger. We got a little more explosive. I'm really liking the vibes of the defensive line so far.
You're hearing a lot of positive things throughout the week from the defensive line, and a lot of it is coming from the young guys, the rookies, and Harmon. We talked about Harmon earlier. Now Yahya Black, man, a 5th rounder out of Iowa. You know, the guy is being moved around alongside the defensive line. Some reps at nose tackle, even some reps at defensive end. I mean, that's a big ass defensive end right there. But he's showcasing his ability to play over on that side, play that position, and a 6'6" dude getting his hands up and batting passes down. I mean, like, that's an impressive stout right there for a guy like Yahya Black.
Yeah, he's a guy that could honestly push like a Loudermilk, Isaiah Loudermilk, or a Logan Lee, right?
You know, Dean Lowry, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he could really see more of an immediate role, even as a backup defensive end. Now, he's primarily should be a nose tackle, in my opinion. I think he should get more reps as a nose tackle because look at his build. Look where Iowa used him. He's a clogger. He seals the gaps. That's what you use him and his size for. It's a big dude in the middle, which is one thing we haven't had in a while. We really haven't had that big, ginormous guy in the middle. Casey Hampton wasn't the biggest dude in terms of height, but boy, was he big. Big snag. Yahya Black's got the size and the structure to him. So I like to see him more as a nose tackle. Maybe that changes, maybe that increases, but even still, with him not really playing the nose as much and more as the DN, still making plays. Love to see it.
And it's what you want to hear from the young guys at defensive line and the new young depth that we have.
Yeah, let's continue on with the defense. How about a Donte Kent, 7th rounder out of Central Michigan? Shout out to him, by the way, Harrisburg native. He's looking solid in coverage. He's making plays. He's getting some PBUs, which corners stacked. We already mentioned the depth, right? It's unbelievable. We got the starting 3. We got Eccles, Beanie, Corey Trice. That's a strong 6 right there. But do they keep 7? And if they do, Kent could make a push. He could very well push a guy like James Pierre out. If they want to keep 7, and if Kent really makes a strong case, I would love to see him make the roster. I'd like to see him make the roster as like that gunner, right? That James Pierre gunner who's better in coverage, hopefully. Definitely faster. He's got some speed to him, right? So I want to see Kent get involved more. It'll be interesting to see what his roles are. Could he see more involved in the second team unit? I like to see what his role could be as we go through the works of training camp. But from what I'm hearing, I'm supporting Kent. I want to see him succeed, man. I really do. As a 7th rounder, it's an easy story to follow.
No, I like that I'm hearing these plays that Kent is making in training camp for a 7th rounder. You don't necessarily hear a lot of these plays happen from guys of where they're selected, but a guy like Kent, the guy's a worker. The guy's a workhorse. The guy is determined to prove himself, to make a roster and just do what he needs to do, whether that's play outside or for his build, most importantly, play in the slot. The guy will go out there and just make a play and do what he needs to do because he loves football and he's passionate about the sport. He's doing what he needs to do.
I agree.
And if anything, like he's proving his case, breaking passes up, even getting a couple interceptions here and there. It goes to show, he's around the ball, which is what you want to hear.
Yep.
Especially at his position. But if anything, start him off as special teams and have a nice special teams gunner right there. I don't mind that one bit.
Maybe work his way up the roster. We always talk about how Ramsey and Slayer are going to help JPJ, Beanie, Trice. Well, they can do the same thing for Kent.
As a matter of fact, Kent said that, his favorite player growing up was Jalen Ramsey, and now he gets to learn from him, be teammates with him. Imagine that.
It's unbelievable, man. Can't write it better for a guy like Kent. So I'm really supporting Kent, and I'm glad to hear he's doing good, man. I really am. And, of course, we got to finish off with Will Howard. 6th-round pick. I don't know how he got to the 6th round, but we got him in the 6th round, and he's looking good, which isn't really a shock to me. I thought Howard was one of the better quarterbacks in this past draft class. Really the only quarterback we wanted in this year's draft class, which was very weak. But we got Will Howard in the 6th. He's obviously going to be the 3 this year. Mason's getting number 2 reps. He's getting QB2 reps, as of course he is. Why wouldn't he? But Will Howard is getting QB3 reps. But that's not the only thing he's going to be limited to. Because, in the first couple of days, he started off as the QB3. Him and Skylar Thompson actually shared QB3 reps. But in the following days, it seems like Will Howard got more reps than Thompson did. So, in 7 shots, Howard would come in for a play or two, most times getting a score for the offense against the defense. So Howard, he's starting to see more playing time. Now, he's not doing anything crazy. Again, there's no pads, there's no tackling, no hits. So he's not doing anything crazy. He's essentially getting the basics down to start off. But even still, I think today I read that he is getting reps, playing time against the starting defense.
He was getting reps. I think he actually had the number 3 personnel, the 3rd stringers against the starting defense. If I read that correctly, nonetheless, it goes to show, the Steelers, they view something in Will Howard. Like his mindset, his work ethic, his determination. One of the reasons why Tom Arth, he admitted to Will Howard that, hey, that's why we selected you, because you're a passionate worker. You're a passionate football player. You love the sport. You want to be great. We want that a part of the locker room. We want that a part of our team. And Will Howard continues to show that. And every day, it's well documented that A-Rod has been working very closely with Will Howard, which is something that we all knew was going to happen.
Yeah, so not only is A-Rod a roommate with DK at Latrobe, he has been close to Will Howard in regards to, this is what he said regarding Will Howard. He said, and I quote, "I told him when he was in the room, we were talking about signals. I said, what can I do for you? Because I want to be a support system for him and pass on anything I can." A-Rod's only here a year. So anything he can do to lend a hand for Will Howard and what that could do for his future and his development as he goes on, I think that's great by A-Rod. The media gives A-Rod a bad rep. They really do.
I mean, that's social media for you.
I ain't going to lie to you. When we signed A-Rod, I didn't think he'd be the greatest mentor because of his character. Maybe not locker room issues or whatever, but, him as a character himself and what the media portrays him as. But from what we've been hearing and what he's been saying all camp and ever since he signed, none of that is really showing. So it seems like the media was really making him out to be something he isn't, and he's really trying to help out the team as much as he can. And A-Rod, I got to give him credit. The knowledge that he has is really going to help Howard. So him as a mentor to Howard, I can honestly say, man, he can't learn from someone better.
No, and A-Rod is no stranger to having to sit on the bench. He sat on the bench for his first 3 years. And he's no stranger to that. And Will Howard, of course, he's practically, knock on wood, if anything were to happen, he's essentially going to redshirt his entire rookie year. So he's essentially going to be sitting on the bench holding a playbook and whatnot.
Yeah, if A-Rod and Mason stay healthy, Will Howard's going to be the quarterback 3, because when was the last time the Steelers ran 3 quarterbacks on game day? The QB3 is normally just healthy and active. So Will Howard, like it or not, is essentially going to redshirt, which isn't a bad thing. I think that should happen to more quarterbacks in the league, including first rounders. I think a lot of quarterbacks nowadays are pretty raw, especially this past draft class. So I think for Howard, that's only going to do him wonders.
Yeah, and A-Rod's experience, having to sit on the bench, like, he is going to do what he needs to do out of the kindness of his own heart as a person and as a player to help out a guy like Will Howard, because he understands that the Steelers drafted a quarterback and that they love a guy like Will Howard and his determination and his dedication to the sport of football and to his game.
Yeah.
So A-Rod's just going to do his part as a veteran, as a man that's essentially, at the finish line of his career. He's just going to try to lend a hand and do his part to try to help out a young stud in Will Howard. And I can appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. So credit to A-Rod on that, man. It seems like, the media really portrays him as something. And so far, ever since camp, he's not really showing what the media is portraying him as. He's showing the complete opposite, that he is a good leader. He is going to be a good mentor. So to A-Rod, man, I got to give him all the credit in the world in that regard. And to finish off here, folks, obviously injuries. It's an unfortunate part of the sport. It's inevitable. And unfortunately, it has happened to not one, but 2 members of the starting offensive line this year already. Once again, Isaac Seumalo is injured in training camp, and he is on the non-football injury list with a soft tissue injury. That's not good.
No, it's not good, considering that he's obviously the older lineman on the offensive line, starting offensive line, the veteran at that. He's already dealing with injury this early, and he dealt with an injury early into the regular season with a shoulder injury and missed him 4 weeks of the start of the season.
Yep.
And now here he is missing the start of training camp. I know he's a veteran and whatnot, but that's still, practical time and chemistry that he is missing due to this unfortunate injury. So now Spencer Anderson is going to be the guy getting first-team reps, filling in at left guard.
Yes, as he did last camp. So Anderson's no stranger to it, but it still sucks to see that the veteran, the glue of the offensive line, is hurt. So hopefully he can recover soon. But soft tissue injuries, it seems like they're striking the Steelers again, because that's what we really dealt with last year. That's one thing Tomlin wanted to change at the end of last season. He said at last season's end-of-season press conference, he really wanted to change in the conditioning for the football team of everything, really, to prevent soft tissue injuries, because that's really the biggest thing that they got bit with last year, beginning to end. And here we are again, soft tissue injury. Seumalo's not the only starting offensive lineman to get a soft tissue injury. Unfortunately, so is Broderick Jones. He had an elbow injury last year. Now, today, he suffered a soft tissue injury
around his right hamstring quad area. And Broderick has not had the best start when it comes to training camp.
No, he has not.
He has not.
I know there's no pads. And I'm really trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm really trying to remain hopeful. I am. There's a lot of you guys out there that are already labeling him a bust and a bad pick and that he's going to be a problem. I don't blame you on that. I'm really trying to hold out hope for the guy because I want him to work out, but I don't know anymore, man. I really don't. There was a clip rolling around, a couple clips actually. Shout out to Noose on X. Shout out to Robbie on X. They were really the main guys. Baku, of course, they were posting clips from Steelers training camp live from Latrobe, right? There's a clip out there from Broderick Jones getting beat by Yahya Black, by Alex Highsmith, and
Nick Herbig even.
And Nick Herbig. Broderick's just, he's just not getting it down. Yeah, we can blame coaching for putting him out of the spot, but he's not getting it down.
No, I don't know what it is. There's a still shot image of Broderick after Highsmith beat him, of him just standing there as A-Rod's still trying to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with Broderick. I don't know what's going on. All I'm going to say right here is that I hope that all the bad juju, all the bad reps are getting out now. Yeah. Like, get the bad stuff out the way, get them out of your system, and focus on why this is happening. Like, the bad stuff's coming out. All right, this is what I got to work on. This is what I got to improve on. This is what I get better at. Now I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying, okay?
Yeah,
I really am trying. I still want to believe in Broderick Jones. I still want to say that the guy can lock down the left tackle position. I'm trying. I don't want to label him a bust yet. I can't until I see him full-time at left tackle during the regular season.
I agree, but Honestly, I don't know anymore, man. I hope it gets better. And obviously, I hope, he recovers from the injury and he can get all the bad stuff out the way, work on his technique, and really find a groove here for once. I really want it to work out. But, yeah, he out of probably everyone has really been the biggest loser out of camp so far.
That's not what you want to hear.
No.
Not one bit.
No.
So I can only hope that he improves. He first of all, he gets healthy again. He recovers from this injury pretty quickly, pretty fairly, and he improves his game drastically when the pads come on.
Fingers crossed, but Broderick's just, I don't know anymore, guys. Moving on, Cordell Patterson, obviously, he didn't participate at all this week. We don't know what the injury is, but according to Tomlin, he's listed the day-to-day. We already said our piece, our opinion on Cordell, so that's all y'all need to know. And undrafted free agent fullback DJ Thomas Jones was carted off, and according to Tomlin, his injury is it might be more significant than others.
You label it as significant. So, I mean,
that sucks.
That's not good news.
No, because I was actually rooting for DJ Thomas Jones, man. I was kind of rooting for him to be like the fullback or maybe take Connor Hayward's spot where he can play the tight end fullback hybrid. I was really rooting for him as an undrafted guy. Maybe the challenge, maybe better Hayward in a way. And he was carted off, which that's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
So could his rookie season be over? Obviously, we hope not, but Thomas says it's significant. That's not good, man. So prayers out to him, and hopefully I'm hoping for the best for the guy.
Of course, man.
But, yeah, that's everything out of the first 4 days, or if you want to categorize it as the first week of training camp. No pads, no hitting, no tackling, nothing really major. So take all this with a grain of salt if you want, but I'm glad to hear the rookies are doing good. They're making their impact known. Roman's getting a lot of outside reps. They're mixing around the defense a little bit, maybe opening up the playbook, getting creative, adding more disguises or blitzes, which is what I want to hear. A-Rod and DK, they're trying to get that connection going quick. That way they can get all the bad stuff out of the way. That way when the regular season comes, their connection is like this.
Not just with DK, but everybody else on the offense. A-Rod is trying to build that chemistry with Muth, Jonas Smith, Darnell Washington even, and Calvin Austin as well.
Yeah, but out of everything, I'm also really looking forward to hear more of the offensive line. When Broderick gets healthy, I want to see what he can do at left tackle. Troy Fatanu, he stayed healthy so far. I want to see what he's capable of, what more he can do. Same thing with Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier, of course. I will note one thing. Zach Frazier did have a couple bad snaps and 7 shots the past couple days. Seems like he's cleaned that up. Bad snaps happen.
I'm not going to panic about it.
The best centers in the league have bad snaps. Creed Humphrey, Linderbaum. It just happens. Maybe we have PTSD from what Mason Cole did to us, but at least they're doing it now, getting it out the way. They're trying to build the chemistry, which is good. So hopefully it all connects soon. When the pads come on, this is when the action counts. This is when the action matters. This is when things get serious for everybody involved. So I'll be very interested to hear and read and watch everything regarding Steelers training camp for this upcoming week when the pads come on. I'm hoping certain guys get more reps, certain guys get more opportunities. Obviously, the more you show, the more opportunity you're going to get. So a lot of these guys, a lot of these cats, they're going to be working for more, especially with the preseason coming up. So
and fingers crossed when the pads come on, there are no more injuries.
Yes.
Or no more serious injuries at that.
Everyone stays healthy, and we can limit the injuries, and especially the soft tissue injuries. That seems like the biggest thing that's hurting us again. So with that being said, let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. We appreciate y'all for watching. Who do you guys think is your biggest winner or your biggest loser? Who you guys really glad to hear in training camp? If you're there at training camp, what more could you give us in regards to what you've seen? Are you going to training camp? Who do you want to go see? Let us know down in the comments below. But training camp, they are off tomorrow on Monday. Pads come on Tuesday. And then, obviously, the Friday Night Light show is coming up soon. So that should be entertaining for a lot of people. And, of course, Steelers football is back. These guys are only going to get more reps. These guys are only going to continue to work. And with preseason creeping up, we can hopefully see some of this stuff transition into actual action. So I can't wait for it. But let us know your guys' thoughts. With that being said, see you guys in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!